crime friends, how y'all doing? Listen.
Dear true crime friends, we clutch our pearls and laugh again. We all gather around, Kathy has a story to tell, our favorite comedian. Heifer, please, I don't have the free time unless you got the scoop again. Here for the gossip, rumor, and innuendo. I will live for today until the endless heaven buffet takes me away. Hey, yeah, yeah.
Hey there, true crime friends. Y'all, we need to talk about this case. I need to talk about this case. And I am not equipped as a professional gossip. I am not equipped to talk about this crazy case. I had to write down her name because, I've slept since the verdict, so I will have forgotten her name. Meggan Sundwall. Meggan Sundwall. And who would I bring to talk about it with me? But Dr. Patrice Berry. Welcome to Gossip, Rumor, and Innuendo, Dr. Patrice. Hi.
So glad to be here. Thank you for the invite.
I need your help. I need your help desperately because part of me is like, this case is so crazy. Okay, let's begin at the beginning. We're going to give a quick overview of what this case is about. And if you have questions, you can always throw them in the chat. I have also included a question box because, as the chat gets going, sometimes it gets really fast. And I don't want to miss any questions. So if you look in the chat, there's a special section to put your questions if you want to make sure, extra sure that I see them. Okay, the state of Utah versus Meggan Sundwall. The quick and dirty of it is, and Dr. Patrice Berry, please help me if I leave anything out.
Okay.
These two ladies were friends. They met at work, and one was a nurse. Meggan Sundwall was a nurse. Casey Terry was a professional sad sack. What did she do for a living?
So I think she helped manage the because it was a place for adults with I think some type of disability or something, and she helped manage the home. The thing that I like to point out is the way that Casey was with Meggan was not the way she was with everybody, and so she only talked about not wanting to live and not wanting to be here with Meggan. She did not say those things to anybody else. She also didn't talk with Meggan about like her drug seeking behavior. Like that was so a different friend could get the Xannies over here. And there was just, and then the family got a completely different version. And I did think the defense forensic psychologist did a really good job humanizing Casey for me, because I was really struggling to understand, okay, even with my knowledge in psychology, like there was fitting into some different things, but he was able to look at all the messages that we didn't get to see. So this case, what the jury decided, because we never got to see Meggan's interviews with the police. They talked about them.
Oh, I had not noticed that. Do you think that was like strategic? Is there a reason why the police interviews weren't shown?
So the judge had the prosecution and defense on a time crunch. Because the state asked, can we shorten breaks? Like, can we?
Yes.
The state wanted more time. And the judge was like, I'm giving this to the jury no matter what on Tuesday. Like the judge kind of had them on this time crunch. And so they entered things in evidence that they did not play in its entirety for the jury. I think part of those 10 hours, I think the jury probably went back to look at the things that were mentioned but were not played in court.
Okay. So for anybody who didn't follow this case, what happened was these two women met at work. One was a nurse, the other was chronically ill. And I was not entirely sure from the beginning if Casey was really sick or if she was pretending to be sick or if she was just saying to this one friend, I'm so sick, but in the rest of her life, she was just normal. It was never clear. Ultimately, Casey was saying, oh, I don't want to be here anymore. I can't stand living. Life is so terrible, blah, blah, blah. And she talked her friend into helping her shuffle herself off to the endless heaven buffet.
Meggan kind of offered too. Meggan was like, hey, if you need somebody to help you with this, like, I'll be here. I'll inject you. Like, so Meggan, so to me, the thing that concerned me about this case, and if anybody ever has
Mhm.
someone in their life that's talking about, like, "I'm just so stressed, I don't know if I can do this anymore. Yes, I have a terminal illness. I don't know if I can live." I've never heard
Right.
somebody say, "Well, then just die." Like, that's not like, who would
That's not a thing. That's
that's
not a thing. And I wonder to what degree
mm,
their culture played a part in this. Now listen, we've done a lot of Utah cases lately, and far be it from me to say that this is an LDS thing. Hashtag not all Mormons. Our Mormon brothers and sisters are mostly not out here murking each other, but the ones we hear most about, because we are true crime fans, are the ones that are out here murking each other. What do you think? How do you think culture plays a part in this? Because I feel like it does, but I can't put my little finger on it. You don't think it does?
so Megan had a complete when her dad got cancer, and when he didn't want to continue with treatment, when he 'cause
Yes.
he needed to have, like, another 'cause he had to have a tongue made from, like, another part of his body.
Right, right,
I
right.
think it was his 3rd time with, I think, oral cancer or something, and,
Mhm.
she told him to get treatment. She told him to keep fighting.
Mm.
He didn't say, like, "Maybe this is your time. There's nothing left for you here." She didn't do that to her dad.
So I know that Casey lied and said, "Hey, there's an up to $1.5 million life insurance policy." I would have I would have had a lot of questions. But she's like, "Hey, lady I know from work, um, if I slip the surly bonds of this earth, you could get up to $1.5 million. Up to, in my mind, includes the number 0. But okay. And you know your friend lies about everything, everything, everything all the time. And then Megan is sitting here looking at her life like, I'm about to go through a divorce. I got to raise this child. How much do you think money was a motive in helping her friend go on to glory?
So Casey gave her a policy number. And it would have been suspicious if she
Right.
had called in advance. Like my that would have been a little suspicious. a little a little suspicious if she had confirmed that.
Okay.
But hey,
Okay.
maybe she might
Fair.
have encouraged that friend to get therapy if I don't know. So and I have a dark sense of humor. So none of this is to so my heart goes out to the victim. My heart goes out
Of
to everybody
course.
involved. Because I do think that Megan allowed herself to be manipulated. Because a lot of times when we
Yes.
talk about manipulation, we don't realize
Yes.
the power that we have to set boundaries. Because
Yes.
Megan
For
never
sure.
said, like, girl, you need therapy. Like you need to talk
Hmm.
to somebody. You need to somebody else to help you walk through this. And I truly think with that, so Casey told Megan that she had a body temperature of 70 something, 75.
75. I was like, girl, that is the air temperature. That is not a body temperature. What are we talking about right now? It's like
And
if I called my doctor's office right now, it's like, my temperature is 3. Could you help me, please? Like, no, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. Mm-mm.
And Megan never challenged her and said, It can't be it can't be that low." Like she never challenged that in the messages that we can see. We
Right,
don't
right,
know
right,
what happened in person, but
right.
Casey said that she had made these attempts with 9 vials of insulin, and that's why I personally feel I don't know that Casey truly wanted to not be here. I think she liked the
Mm.
attention that she got from
Yes,
Megan. Now this was toxic attention
yes.
because this friend is
Right.
over here, like, encouraging you to not be here, and Casey would almost get to, like, be a savior for the friend and get to save her from her financial situation, but it was all fake.
Oh.
And there's some people that don't realize
Oh.
that they're not really sick. I truly think Casey did know that it was a lie, or else she wouldn't have
Yeah.
told her doctors that
Right,
she would have told her doctors that she had cancer as well.
right.
Yes.
Right, but she told her doctor she had a lot of things, but mostly things that couldn't be proven, right? She was like, "I have terrible endometriosis. The pain is so awful." But the doctor who diagnosed it and was treating it has since retired, and so, oops, there's no records, but that assumes there are no more doctors in the area. Like, you can just go to a new doctor and get a new diagnosis and continue treatment or whatever. This story was so bizarre to me, and a lot of the lies, as a person who's not involved in this relationship, not involved in this situation, I was like, this lady, Casey, is clearly manipulating her friend. Why would Meggan allow herself to be manipulated by Casey? I couldn't make it make sense. I couldn't make it make sense.
And the forensic psychologist talked about a savior complex because Casey made it seem like she was isolated and Meggan was all that she had, but that wasn't true.
Right.
But
Right.
I think Meggan thought that she was, because imagine she's messaging you so much, you might think there's no way she has anybody else in her life, but she did. Like she messaged a lot of people. There were a lot of messages, and
Oh my God.
she lied and said that she didn't have a good relationship with her sister, and yet she told her sister that Meggan was trying to take her out with insulin, which I think plants the seeds of, could this be redrum? Like, could it? The jury did not.
Yeah.
The jury, I love it when your camera does
Damn
that.
camera. Oh my God. My camera's psychotic. My camera's trying to red rum me. Go ahead.
I think that the jury got it right. There was a ton of doubt, and the state could not definitively put it in Meggan's hands. Put the insulin vial, but they couldn't definitively say, yes, is definitely, or even, because to me, there was some doubt of, could it, there are all these theories. Well, what could have this or that? But like, what about this or what about that?
One of the questions here in the question box, Primetime KCL says, do you think the jury got it right with guilty of manslaughter and obstruction of justice? And I thought to myself, I didn't watch every single moment of this trial, but I watched a lot of it. And I thought that was the only answer that made sense to me, that it had to be manslaughter because they couldn't put a vial in Meggan's hands. But it's pretty clear she was like the murder helper. I mean, it's so icky. It's so icky.
Because if she had done literally nothing, because there is proof that she continued to monitor her blood sugar and continued to keep care away from her. So by not, when the uncle comes down and is like, what's going on? She brings up the DNR, the do not resuscitate, where the medical professionals clarified, oh no, like at any point, because the way that those hours, that sounds like suffering and a lot of pain that Casey could have been. Like, I don't know that she would have wanted that. Like this, and I don't think Meggan thought it would take that long.
Honestly, I thought, Meggan was sitting there like,
I think she thought she was gonna make it to dinner.
She would be gone already. Like, I'm supposed to have dinner with my parents. My babysitting time is up. Donalina One says, Casey lied about everything. She was also a thief and not a good person. Honestly, I have rarely seen a less likable victim. Normally the victim passes away and everyone's just like, we're here for the victim, poor person. This is terrible. This terrible person is on trial. I didn't like either one of these ladies. I was just like, both of them were just so icky to me. But I couldn't make it make sense. Okay, first of all, Casey seemed like an energy vampire. I was like, oh, I would not have the patience for this foolishness. Oh, I'm so sick. I'm dying. Oh, my temperature is 4 and my left leg just fell off.
Meggan entertained that.
Nah.
One of my favorite, did you watch the ex-husband's testimony? It's okay.
No.
He was hilarious. He could not remember exactly how many times they got married. He thought it might have been 3.
Yeah. Wait. Casey's husband or Meggan's ex-husband?
Casey's ex-husband. So Casey had been married. They got married twice. And the first time they got divorced, I don't know if he was working on an oil rig or he was going to work out of state, and that was going to cause problems in their relationship. And so he told her to get a boyfriend. That's what he said on the stand. He was like, I just told her to get a boyfriend. And she didn't want to do that.
Sure.
So we got divorced. But then they got remarried, and he decided to take his son from a different relationship on a trip, but the day he picked
Okay.
was their anniversary, was their wedding anniversary.
Oh,
Like, so we ended up
he's
getting
deeply
the most
committed to the
fun.
relationship. Okay.
He thought they might have been married 3 times, but, like, and he would help her out every so often. He did not believe that she had terminal cancer, 'cause she was saying she had terminal cancer for 10 years. 10 years she had been saying that she had terminal cancer.
I mean, listen, I have an uncle who went to hospice. He was very ill. He had a lot of health problems. His wife was a nurse and they put him on hospice, right? And we were like, oh, uncle, he's clearly not going to last long. And he stayed and stayed and stayed in hospice. And I was like, why we got to keep going? I didn't even really like him like that anyway. Please, Black Jesus, don't let none of my family be on this live stream. But he was in hospice for a long time. And then finally they're like, we gonna send you home. And
Oh,
so he graduated from hospice and then lived like another 15 years.
oh, whoa.
So
Wow.
yeah, yeah. So I don't know if maybe he wasn't really in, and his wife, who was a nurse, it turned out she was a phlebotomist and not a nurse. I don't
Was
know.
she poisoning him? But she wasn't poisoning him, right?
No, no,
Okay,
no, no,
good, okay,
no.
good,
She
okay, good.
loved him very, very
Oh,
much.
yay.
By the by, he died like last year. And I was
Mm,
like, did y'all check? Because
mm.
I'm not even sure. But he and when my family is very religious, and so he would go to church and be like, the Lord delivered me from hospice. He can deliver you from, your gout and you're looking for a job or whatever it is. His testimony was fire.
Um,
Testimony Sunday. Oh, everybody wanted to hear him speak because, he got like raised from the dead or whatever. I don't know how all that works,
But
but
but but imagine he didn't have anybody in his life that was just like, "Let's just pray that you go and be with God right now." Do you know what I mean? Like, let me invite my parents over so that you can go and
right.
be with God. And so,
Right.
there
He did
were
have good life insurance, so I don't listen, I don't know what that wife was it was a second wife. I like the first wife better. I'm just saying, um, mm, I don't
this case had serious concerns, and I am
yes.
glad that she was found guilty of something because it felt
Yes.
wrong,
Yes.
but I don't know that the state could fully prove that she injected her. My personal theory,
Right.
this is sofa speculation, there is absolutely 0 proof for it. I'm
Leaning in.
wondering if because, Casey, the day before because Megan's like, "I'm coming over tomorrow. I have a babysitter." Because remember, she got a babysitter so that she could be able to go
Mhm.
and be with her during this whole thing. Casey Googled something to the effect of, "Is it dangerous to inject yourself with saline?" So I believe that she preloaded saline because her blood sugar does not drop until 12:30.
Oh, after
'Cause
her
s
friend got
so
there.
well, and Megan got there at 10, so they were probably injecting something around or Casey said, "I just did it," and then Megan's like, "Okay, let's do another one," and we inject another one, but there isn't a major drop in blood sugar until 12:30. And so what happened in that room? Did Megan go and get the actual insulin vial, and is Casey over here like big-eyed like, "Ooh, I guess I'm about to" like, I don't know what happened. And I think
Oh
Casey
my
was the type
god.
of person that I don't know that she would have ever admitted that there was no insurance policy. She was not terminal. Like, the forensic psychologist explained that individuals with patterns like Casey, they often don't
Mhm.
think long term. They're just trying to get a need met in this moment. So in this moment, I need for
Oh.
you to care for me. In this so we're over here like, what do you think is gonna happen when you die? And she realizes there's nothing. She hasn't thought that far. It's just meet can you meet this need in this
Oh. How do you think because at one point, Casey paid for what I assume is a lavish vacation, but maybe was not, I don't know.
Disney. I wouldn't pay so I love all my family, and we're doing, like, a Disney trip next year, and they're all
Mhm.
paying like, I'm paying for me and my family, and they're all paying like, these are my brothers and my sister, my dad, my stepmom, every
Right. Right, right.
everybody's paying for themselves. She paid
Listen,
for
I've been on family
convincingly.
vacations where people need a little help, and I'm still waiting to get paid
So
back from some
that's
people.
where
I'm
it
I'm
kind of
salty.
seemed like Megan and Casey were using each other a little. Because Megan saw a
Oh,
shirt or, like, pair of pants, like, Megan saw this. She's complaining about not being able to pay, buy food, and then she saw
yes.
this $300 pair of jeans, or I don't know, she saw this article of clothing that was $300 that she couldn't afford, and Casey sent her the money so that she could buy that thing that was so expensive.
It's
But
crazy. You
Casey
know how
didn't
much
have the money
groceries
either.
you could buy for $300?
I
Like, that's a lot of ramen. That's a lot of ramen. You could get some lobster thrown in there. You get some toilet paper. It's weirdly codependent. This statement is dead on. Aaron lives here. It's weirdly codependent. I don't I am not known for having great amounts of patience. That's just not where my
um,
gifts lie.
okay.
So these people who are just like, "Oh, I'm so sick." Okay, girl, call me when you feeling
So
better. You know what I
I
mean? Like,
I have worked with people that had either somatic complaints where they experience pain, or they experience emotional issues in physical ways,
okay,
or we were
okay,
concerned of, like, are they using the medical system to try to get attention and support. I have worked with individuals
right.
with symptoms like that before, and as a therapist, I meet them where they are, but we have boundaries. So we're not gonna spend the entire session talking about nothing but medical. I need to know how you feel. Like,
Yeah,
we have to get deeper. Because
yeah,
we would
yeah,
rather
yeah.
just talk about the medical, because that's taking away from the real. That's taking away
Right,
from what's under everything.
right.
So
Oh, this is why I am not a therapist. Listen.
and also remember, I am paid. So I love my job, but I'm also paid to be there. Do
Yes.
you know? And so,
Right,
yeah,
right,
and I
right.
don't I don't have that in my real life. So I don't have anybody in my real life drain. No, because I would
Mhm.
set boundaries. If I had somebody
Yeah.
in my real life that was acting the way Casey was acting with Megan, I'd be like, hey,
Mhm.
like, you have until Friday to find a therapist before I call a welfare check. Like,
Oh, ah,
you can't keep saying, like, I'm gonna do this to myself, I'm gonna do this to
yes.
myself, and I sit back and do no, like,
Yeah,
you need
yeah.
to get help.
My whole thing is this, right? And everybody goes through a hard time for whatever reason, one way or another, whether it's financial, economic, health wise, work, whatever, your children, everybody has hard times. And I will be a listening ear and not a wagging tongue. Although, child, the struggle is so, so real. But at a certain point, my question becomes, what have you done to help yourself?
Exactly.
My children know it. My spouse knows it. My friends know it. I will listen to you talk about, oh, ain't it awful? My boss is awful. My husband is awful. My children are awful. My dog is not potty trained. And I will ask, like, oh, wow, what have you done to help yourself? I, I just need to know. I just need to know. And even if you're not doing that for yourself, I need to know, like, wait, for me, it's a measuring stick, right? Does this person just want to sit here and talk about the problem, or are they actively seeking solutions? Because
And that's where I
mm-mm.
wonder if, so to me, if you heard the messages of the fake hospice nurses and hospice doctors, they talked
Yes,
exactly like Casey. Like, there was no, like, chat, like, there was no, like, the way they messaged and talked was very, like, it was these long messages. It didn't seem overly, like, it seemed like it was. Now I have the hindsight of being able to look back, but,
right.
and I did see a question of somebody asking me, as a therapist, do I have my own therapist? And so
That's personal.
oh, no, no, but I don't mind. I don't mind. So,
Okay.
I have been in and out of therapy multiple times. And I've also mentioned that when things, like, are starting to affect my family, if things are starting to, if I, when things are starting to affect me in major ways, I do, get my own, I do actively have a therapist. I'm not currently in
Mhm.
therapy, but it is something. I think my last therapist was maybe 2 years ago, I think. Yeah. Yep, yep, yep.
Same, same, same.
Mhm,
That exact same pattern.
mhm.
I strongly, strongly believe in the power of therapy, but I also
Also not
understand
free.
that
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
yeah, and in some cultures, it's like not a thing. You know what I mean? Whether I don't know if it's like parts of the country or different like religious or ethnic cultures or whatever. But I'm a big, big believer in therapy. But I have relatives who were just like, nope, all you need is prayer. I mean, I have a stepmother who was schizophrenic and required medication on an ongoing basis. And she was a preacher's daughter. And so it was a struggle for her
Mm.
because the way she was raised, you could
Pray
pray
away
the schizophrenia
or
away.
it's a demon
And
or something. Yeah.
right, right. And when she was medicated and well managed,
Mm.
she was fine. And ultimately, she opted out
Okay.
of
And
active
and
care, and it
I
ended her
will
life. She did not end her life,
yeah.
but her not being cognizant meant that she took actions that ultimately ended her life. I don't think she did that on purpose. I think she was doing the best that she could, but it was heartbreaking.
And that's where I think Casey was too. That I
Yeah.
think she was doing the best she could with what she had, and she desperately
Yes.
needed a friend that wouldn't assist her in this horrible plan, who without
Right.
even validating that she had cancer. Now there was that because she was messaging as the fake hospice doctor and the fake hospice nurse, but,
Mm,
the fact that Meghan messaged the hospice doctor that night to ask, like, "Did Casey schedule that surgery?" And then told her
yeah.
parents that her hospice doctor was aware of the condition she was in, but that was a lie.
Mm-mm.
Some of those
Yeah.
things I just couldn't get over.
Yeah. Wow. Oh, okay. Wait. Here's a question. This is not the question I meant to click on,
No
but let's
worries.
read it and see. Um, Dr. Patrice Berry, I actually disagree with you on Casey deserving a better friend. She kind of got what she gave, in my opinion. Megan wasn't Megan wasn't as much of a parasite as Casey. Oh, that's interesting. I think they were equally terrible to one another, in my opinion. What do you think?
I think that, um I think they were both getting something out of the relationship, and I don't think it was healthy. I think it was incredibly toxic.
Yeah.
We often talk about toxic relationships in terms of, like, romantic relationships, but friendship
Right.
can be toxic too. And the
Absolutely.
defense psychologist talked about splitting, and I think part of the reason why Casey never wanted her sister to actually talk to Megan, because if Megan knew she had a good relationship with her family, she might tell her family like, "Hey, I'm concerned. Casey keeps talking about this." But by
Mm,
these 2 separate sides. So telling her sister,
yeah.
you know, Megan's the worst, and then telling the other side, it kept them separate. And so people have to be careful if one side is like, It's all bad, it's all bad, it's all bad," and you
Yeah.
don't know the full picture or the full story.
Yeah.
Exactly, Jenny. Any relationship can be toxic.
For sure. And it could be honestly, the hardest breakup I ever had in my life was when I broke up with my best friend.
Oh,
I was gutted, absolutely gutted. I had children, I had a spouse, I had pets. Like I had
so
a
weird.
big,
No,
busy, full
yeah,
life.
yeah.
That ending that relationship broke my heart. I thought that I would grow old with this woman, honest
Mm,
to goodness. And we didn't she was borderline. And so me taking steps back from the relationship really triggered her. She was a borderline personality, had borderline personality disorder, and was in active treatment.
okay.
And she talked about like her treatment process and whatever. But we were in such different places in our lives. I was like, I can't do this. And
So
it was exhausting. It was
so a
I
lot
still love her, but I was like, child.
a lot of the features that the defense psychologist was describing. So, borderline personality disorder is a spectrum. It can show up a lot of
Yeah.
different ways. And so, this is in no way to disparage, because there are individuals with borderline personality disorder that would never look and do the things. Because Casey also had a multitude of other substance issues. Like there were a
Yes.
multitude of other issues going on with her as well. But I do think she
Yes.
had that very real fear of abandonment, rejection, and would do or say almost anything to maintain a relationship. The forensic psychologist
Mm,
described her as a social chameleon, and that she would just adapt
yes.
to whatever environment. But that's where, what about Megan made her think that Megan would be like on board with this death plan? But she was.
Yeah.
So that's where it's like,
Yeah.
ugh, and that's where my concern, because the forensic psychologist, it really helped me see how vulnerable not only Megan was, but also how vulnerable Casey was. And this is
Mm,
because this is gonna change Megan's life. So she's gonna serve
of
a minimum
course.
of 1 to 15 years. Utah's
Right.
weird where they let the parole like,
Parole
there's
board.
a board that will determine, when a person is ready for release. I could see the judge, um, because from some of the judge's rulings, I did
Mhm.
think a lot of people, um I don't know, like this a lot of if Casey had not because and that's where I want people to get help and support no matter how they present and what shows up in front of them. But I think
Yeah,
Megan might get a lower sentence because
I
of
agree.
Casey's role in this too.
Yeah. The thing that really blew me away, you talked about
Mm,
Casey being a social chameleon, right? And it was clear that she had substance abuse issues and she's like a sad sack over here, but then she's telling her uncle, "Oh no, I'm going to get my insurance license and I'm going to get a job and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that."
knee surgery,
Um
knee replacement surgery. Like who would do that? And
yeah,
then I don't
she
know.
had knee replacement surgery and then told her very best friend in all the world, "Oh, my hospice nurse dropped me and I broke my femur." And I was like,
But that was to
I don't
explain because so Megan would have figured out that she didn't have cancer. They would not do knee replacement surgery on a terminal patient. So
Oh,
they
oh,
they
oh, oh,
actually
oh, oh,
had
oh, oh.
her orthopedics her that surgeon that did that surgery,
Yes,
the things
yes,
that they screen for are you trying to harm yourself? Like they screen for mental health things, and they
yes,
also screen for other illnesses. Because if you have terminal cancer, there's no point in us doing knee
yes,
replacement surgery if you're just
yes.
trying to have comfort for the time that you have left. And so,
I won
um
yeah, I wondered if that was drug-seeking behavior, the knee replacement surgery. I mean, they said she was
really
bone on bone.
yeah, yeah, she legit had, a and with opioids, so a person once a person is prescribed certain things, it can be really hard to come off of them. I've talked a lot on my channel about
Hmm,
just taking that medication as prescribed. If your doctor prescribes you
yeah,
to take it 1 every 4 to 6 hours for a week, when you stop that
right.
medication, you're gonna have withdrawal symptoms. Like, just from 1 week taking the
Oh,
medication as prescribed. So that's why many
oh,
doctors, they only give you a few. So even if you have a major
yeah,
surgery, they don't give you like a big they don't give you 30 anymore. They give you like
yeah,
and they also give you, like a high, like Tylenol, whatever. Like they'll give you something else, or they'll encourage you to do
mhm,
ibuprofen or something. Um,
yes,
but I think there were signs to her body that she had overused pain medication, but her doctors likely
mhm.
thought that she had legit pain, but didn't really realize that there was a substance issue.
I'm I'm shocked that the substance abuse issue was not more apparent because it seemed like she was going to a lot of doctors. How was she able to get so much pain medication?
And I think the surgery did give her those medications, but then because I think she was trading them, I think what she preferred
Yes.
were the benzos. I don't think the pain medication was the one that she was
What do
overusing.
benzos do?
It just makes you calm. So I've seen a client on Xanax
Okay.
and they because yeah, and it just kinda zonks it like nothing exists. Like it's but and that's where I don't recommend that as like as like somebody's everyday medication. Anxiety is
Right.
often managed with SSRIs or with other medications. Those
Mhm.
strong medications, people can become dependent. And also what happens is you start needing more and more to feel the same
Right.
effect, which
Right.
can build a dependence.
Well, I mean, my son, as many people know, and I know the people in my membership know because I talked about it ad nauseum. My kiddo had double jaw surgery,
Oh, no.
December 19th over Christmas. My son had a serious underbite. He had Pekingese teeth like
Mm,
this.
mm,
And so we've known since he was 11 that he was going to have this jaw surgery. We've talked about it and whatever. And then it came down to getting it done. And I was like, wait, you're going to do what now? Ultimately, they broke his upper and lower jaw and like put them in. He had like his face remodeled basically. Um, and they realigned both of his jaws, and then they had to like give him a new chin. I don't know what they did with the chin, but it took like an extra 3 hours or something. And so I was like, what are we doing for pain management? Like literally the most he had ever had for anything was like having a tooth pulled, not even a wisdom tooth, just like a tooth pulled or a cavity. And so he wasn't afraid of the surgery. He was afraid of the anesthesia. And I was like, boy, you need to be afraid of that surgery. But I was like, okay, baby, it's going to be great. And they did this thing where he was really out of it for a couple days. And so they did something where they made it so he was numb for like the first 3 days. While he was still open up from surgery, they did whatever. So he was numb through like the worst of it. And then they gave us like some heavy, we called it the heavy stuff and the light stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, we had a little chart. Okay, now I'm giving you the heavy stuff. And now 2 hours from now, you take the light stuff. The light stuff was still like Tylenol with I don't know what in it.
Probably
But
codeine or something. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And after a week, he was like, I think we probably still have some left because he
Yep.
was just like, I don't need this stuff. I'm fine. So I say all that to say I understand that they're giving people like less of the heavy duty stuff. But I don't know, like, what does that do to your body? She only has one kidney. Like, there was a whole lot going on over there with her medically.
And the question? Like, those are the statements. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, because I'm just like, wait, like people are throwing up in the chat, like nerve block. Okay, that sounds good. Yeah, like I don't know. I don't know. But the whole thing scares me, right? Like all the heavy duty medication, whatever. And it's my understanding that they don't write those, they don't just go, oh, here's a boatload of whatever
They
anymore.
used to. And some doctors still will, some don't, but like it can really, and some doctors are monitored because doctors have been prosecuted. So like some doctors are kind of pill mills because they're like, but like,
Oh,
so like the doctors that overprescribe, where
yes, yes.
every person that comes in and complains of a toothache, you're immediately giving them 60, I don't like you're giving them more than what they need because they started
Right.
tracking in the midst of the opioid crisis. They started tracking like how much doctors prescribed, and they'll often refer to pain management or do different things. I also think that Casey was in a ton of emotional pain, and I think she needed real help.
Yeah.
I also think
Yeah.
that Meggan's life was falling apart too, because so the jury did not
Mhm.
know that Meggan had lost her job for the
Right.
like lying on her
Time
time
card
card.
fraud or something. Yeah, yeah.
And they also didn't know that, I think a little bit of her financial difficulties. So, because the state mentioned she needed a new car, like that. That all of these other things were happening, and I think she probably thought Casey wanted to do this for her. Because Casey said it. Casey said that she wanted
Yeah.
to do all of
Yeah,
this.
I was gonna say it was clear that Casey was like, "Can you help me go on and get out of here?" I also wonder, once it came out that Casey was about to be found out for having stole $64,000, I wondered to what degree she was like, "You know what? I've been playing around with like taking the quick exit here." And I wonder to what degree Casey was like,
But
a couple of birds with one stone over here.
so
Like, who knows? I don't
I
know.
still think because it was Megan's idea to come to her. Because I think Casey was like, "Oh, I'll come over to your house," but that means she would have
Right.
brought everything with her. And so I don't
Oh.
remember Casey didn't think long term. I think her family and
Mm,
even her uncle said they would have forgiven her. They would have just made her pay it off, work it off, but they wouldn't have hated her.
right.
They wouldn't have cut her off. There might have been a part of her that was concerned about that, but I don't think she was thinking long term. I don't think she was. I personally think Megan's situation
Oh,
was getting more and
wow.
more dire, and it just it's a lot, and we'll never know. So we'll never know
Right, right,
what
right.
happened because and Megan was smart to not take the stand. I don't think that would have went well at all.
Oh, yeah. No, 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 no. Listen, I joke about people having a murdery face.
Mhm.
Um, and and we know that having a murdery face is not a real thing, although it feels real in my spirit. Um, But when the only time we saw Megan's face is when she would turn backwards and look, I guess, at her parents or the audience or whoever. We kept seeing these shots from behind. And I just kept thinking, she doesn't, nothing about her face. Not that that's a judge, I can't judge her just based on her face or hair.
Because
But
Lori
I was like, girl, this is not
Lori
going to go good.
Vallow thinks she's gorgeous. She thinks should be a model or
Yeah.
something. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Corey
Oh
also
my God.
probably,
Resting murder face. Hilarious.
not a
I mean, you got to call him like you see him for real, for real. There's a bunch of questions over here. Okay. Let's see. Marissa3399 says, do you think Casey was pushing the sympathy and really didn't expect to die? That's a good question.
I think that's a possibility. Or what if at some
Oh,
point she told Meggan she didn't want to go through with it? Would Meggan have been like, there's nothing left for you here? Like this is God's, I don't like, what if she had changed her mind? So we don't know what's
wow.
in that room. We don't know what,
Right.
like, would Meggan have let her out of it? Thinking,
It would almost make more sense if it was an unalived pack. You know what I mean? Like, when I used to go to
Meghan
school,
had things to do. And she has
she's like,
she
I'm planning to grieve in Tahiti.
she was Googling flights, Googling vacations.
Well, right. She was looking at and like new cars and all these other things. It seems so scary to think that, like, I got this money spent. Think about it this way, right? If
Okay.
you know you're gonna get a tax refund,
Okay.
first of all, you file your taxes and you're like, they're gonna send me $2,000. And it's always a maybe, and maybe the laws changed, or maybe you forgot to carry the one on your taxes in your calculations. But still in your head, you're like, okay, I'm gonna pay that light bill, then I'm gonna buy these new shoes, and I want a new computer, whatever it is, right? You've sort of already got it spent in your head, no matter what the amount is. If you're thinking up to $1.5 million.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why
Maybe
the name of the
an
insurance
unconscious
company,
financial Moses. Go
the
ahead.
name of the insurance company was John Hancock, and they played the audio of Meggan
Yes.
calling after Casey's death to
Mhm.
confirm if the policy was real or not, and learning that no, it was not real. But that's where I wonder if it was like, oh, I'm played. Like, oh, because I don't know if she was a suspect at that point. I'm pretty sure I don't, because so the police to me were really thinking this could have been that Casey did this to herself. Like, I don't know that
Right, right, right.
I don't know that the police were immediately like, "Oh yeah, this was super suspicious." And
Right.
but oh,
It was the family that was like, "No, no, 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 no." But all those text messages show what in my opinion, a deeply wounded,
yeah.
sick, manipulative, like, there was so much going on. It was hard to sort out, like, what is mental illness? What is manipulation? What is like a big ball of all of that? The whole thing is so creepy to me.
And I am glad that the jury focused on the facts. They focused on what they were there for.
Yes.
They acquitted her, so she was found not guilty of the first
The
of
top
three
charge.
of
Mhm.
the top charge. And the obstruction was her deleting all the messages. She deleted over 200
Yeah.
messages.
Yeah.
And so that was the obstruction of justice. I don't know if the state
Yes.
also included like um not telling. Yeah, I think it was mostly the deleting the messages. Yeah.
One of the things that really struck me about these messages, these thousands of messages back and forth between these two women, is this. When I first moved to New York, right? It's so like 1992, 1993, the AIDS crisis was like just ravaging the gay community, right? And I went to a church that was very LGBT friendly.
Yeah.
It was called Dignity New York. It was like a bunch of gay men and me, and like two other women, but mostly a bunch of gay men and me, which to me, fabulous. These are my people. But every week, literally every week at mass, they would have a list of people who had died. And so in my early 20s, I went to literally hundreds
Oh,
of
wow.
funerals, hundreds of them. And it was heartbreaking, but there was a way in which you got comfortable with talking about death and
Mhm.
experiencing death of people who were in your age group and people around you. And there were some, and a lot of people were like estranged from their families. So it's not like the mom and dad were going to swoop in and be the nurses and help and whatever. And so there was almost like a language around death that people would use that in my mind, I was like, this is probably how they talk in old folks' homes. But at the time, if you got diagnosed, you knew you only had a few years, blah, blah, blah. So people would talk about death in almost like a joking kind of way. And some of what I read in those messages, I was like, this is that like comfort with death that maybe you only see over at Shady Acres. Like, I don't know. But the way they talked about it so casually and professionally, I work in post-death services. And so there's a lot of humor that's probably not socially acceptable in like polite society. But when I'm around people who do the kind of job that I do, you have a certain amount of comfort around it. None of us are like, well, listen, this is how I plan to go. But it's not an odd conversation to have at my house. Everybody in my house knows what I want done with me when I'm dead. So I'm just like, some of their conversation just sounded to me like people who were very comfortable with end of life topics.
But almost too comfortable. So I have talked to
Yes.
people that were terminal. I have known people that were, and nobody was telling them like, now it's different when they are like in hospice and you feel like they're holding on just for the family.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or they're
Right,
holding
right, right,
on
right, right.
to have like, because let's say it's December 23rd and it's like they want to have one more Christmas or something. So
Yes,
sometimes I
yes.
have seen people where they're just like, hey, if you're holding on for me, like we'll be okay. Do you know?
Right,
I've heard people do
right.
stuff like that, but I've
Yes,
never heard
yes.
somebody be like, "There's nothing left for you here," and that could be, but I've never like I just there's some of those messages I cannot
Yeah.
get over, and that was early on, like that was maybe year 1 or 2,
Oh,
like that wasn't year like 8, 9, 10. Like this wasn't after all
oh.
these years of claiming having, and she didn't
Maybe
look
she was
terminal,
just sick
like
of her friend.
she
Maybe
looked
she
healthy.
just was sick of her. She was like, Girl, go on, go. I need this money. You get on my nerves. You're an energy vampire. Go,
But
go.
so
Won't
then
you want to
so
go be with Jesus?"
that's where set a boundary and maybe decide if this friendship is good for you or not. Don't help
Right.
them because that's a crime. That is very much a crime to do what happened in this.
Did Megan know that was a crime? Was she?
I think she thought she would get away with it. So I first of all, I don't
Oh,
think she
yeah.
thought it would take as long as it did. It's
Yeah, for sure.
really the fact that uncle even came downstairs,
Yeah.
because if he hadn't come
Oh.
downstairs, she
Yeah.
maybe there was only a few hours left without any intervention. I don't know. I don't know, but I'm glad the family was able to have that time, because if she had died, they wouldn't have been able to say goodbye, and I don't know that that's
Right.
what Casey would have wanted. Like, this
Right.
it's just some things just don't feel right to me about this, and we will never fully understand it.
Did Casey even know what Casey wanted? Because that was my other question. I'm like, I don't even know that Casey knew what she
So,
wanted.
if
Like,
she did have something on the spectrum of, like, a borderline personality disorder, at its core, there's
mhm.
a stable sense of self. Where the self is really based on, because there is no identified, like, the person really struggles to let people know exactly what they want out of fear that if I tell you I don't wanna die, that you won't be my friend anymore. Or if I and
Oh,
so I don't know if,
interesting.
yeah, it's a complicated thing, and, I have compassion
So
for both
complicated.
sides, and none of this is to excuse anything, it just kind of helps us
Right.
understand what's happening.
Yeah. So much of it, I as I watched this trial, I was like, I don't understand. I don't understand. I some bits and pieces of it, I was like, right, right, right. Like sort of gallows humor. Yeah, that I totally, totally get. But the listen, my daddy's gonna come and pray and lay hands and be like, go be with Jesus. And Casey's parents, it's clear that a lot that Casey's not Casey's parents, Megan's parents, um only knew bits and pieces of what was happening. I'm sure they believed everything their daughter told them. My friend is terminally ill. Yes, she has rosy cheeks and she looks healthy as you and me, but she clearly has the might drop dead any minute disease. I don't know what that would be. But the fact that the parent, and there was a whole thing back and forth like, did Megan's father give the blessing of relief or the blessing of release?
And that's
And
where
I
I
was,
wonder if he could get in trouble with his church if he gave the blessing.
oh,
So that's where so that's where question mark, because on the stand, he said there is
oh.
no, and sometimes Mormons they don't want to make Mormons look bad. They
Yes, yes, yes,
publicly. And
yes,
so, he said he didn't give the blessing of release, and, he came across more credible than the mom to me, in my
for
opinion.
sure,
I
for
thought
sure.
the mom was very, and I'm a mama bear, dude, but I'm not gonna,
Mhm.
if my kid is wrong, Imma tell the defense attorney, "I don't know if you wanna call me."
Mhm.
Like, this was
Yeah, like,
I was telling him, so I have a son. I was telling him to cut her off or cut him off. I told him they were bad. I'm criminal stages
ah!
of DSM for them. There ain't no way. Like, I'm over here. I
Listen, I have 4
discernment.
sons
Oh, yeah.
and 2 grandsons. It's a
Oh,
situation. So
wow.
by the by, me and you need to talk offline about something. But, these kids, these kids. Anyway, yeah, I don't know if Mormons have a last rites. First of all, I mean, I guess our LDS friends in the chat will let us know, or our former LDS friends. I had not thought about the idea that the dad didn't want to make the church look bad, and I don't think that's just a Mormon thing. I think that's a like. Listen, as a Black person, I don't want other Black people to look bad. As a gossip, I don't want other gossips to look bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that seems natural to me. Um, the relief, release, the difference in the blessings, I don't know. Or maybe I know there are certain blessings in the LDS church that you have to be like at a certain level to be able to give them. Maybe the daddy just had like the Melchizedek priesthood, but he didn't have like the other priesthood. I only know of the Melchizedek because I watch Big Love. So, I know from TV all my good LDS things. But their whole relationship was strange. But the fact that the parents were so plugged in with this friend and they were like, she was like family. We took her everywhere with us. But then when they went on a family vacation and did not bring Casey along, Casey called her family and was like, my friend been trying to kill me. Now that she's out of town, can you come and rescue me and get me out of the house? I feel like she sort of monkey barred from person to person, whoever was going to give her the most amount of attention, that's where she would go.
Mhm.
Eh, wait, Lil didn't he didn't have the Daybell priesthood.
No.
That you know what? On you can't see it from this angle, but on one of my shelves back here, there's a bottle of G Your Hair Smells Terrific shampoo. And that came from Chad Daybell's um patriarchal blessing.
Oh.
When Chad Daybell, after Alex had killed a bunch of people, Chad Daybell gave him a patriarchal blessing, which, according to the church, he was not qualified to do. And according to the blessing, because it was recorded, he know what he was doing because he puts his hands on Alex's head and he was just like, you, Alex Cox. And Lori's like, Alexander. He's like, Alexander Lamar Cox, you are holy. And like he's like stumbling his way through this blessing, and they played the blessing in court. And so I was trying to give my lovely audience a sense of what he said in this blessing. So I said he was like, you, Alex Cox, have a bright smile, and gee, your hair smells terrific. And because he was clearly just like
Yeah.
grabbing things out of the air. The number of bottles of Gee, Your Hair Smells Terrific shampoo I received. First of all, hello, people born in 1970. I did not know that they still made Gee, Your Hair Smells Terrific, but
Oh.
all of y'all went and found it and sent me all the bottles of Gee, Your Hair Smells Terrific.
Can we go ahead and
Um,
start going through the super chats?
yes, we should. Yes, we should. Wait, we
I have
have
a kid that needs to go to bed because bedtime is my
I
time. Once he's in bed, I
I
can.
understand. Kick your feet up, turn on the Netflix. Peachy Keen 1, gifted 5. Dr. Patrice Berry, Psychologist Reacts memberships.
Thank
Thank you so much, Peachy King. Wait, I tagged this really early on and I forgot I did. Call me Kim P says, I'm here for the gossip, the rumor, and the innuendo. Girl, I know that's right. Let's see. Grizzly Bear Kelly P, member for 24 months. Love you guys doing this together. I'm a member of each of your channels. Love the collab of my favorites. Yay, yay, yay. We love it too. Shy Gal with the $5 super chat. Love you, ladies. We love you right back. Lauren, child, I don't know what the rest of that says. Lauren, a member for 3 months.
I'm gonna get somebody in trouble.
Yeah, no, I might conjure up the devil if I start trying. I'm not.
I like
Be
it.
over here speaking in tongues. I haven't seen much of this case. Half a what? Child, this whole case was half a what?
And literally, that's why I started covering it. Like, I got to opening statements and I was like, oh, I will be following every single moment of this. And this one and Corey Richins were happening at I think it was Corey. I don't know, my brain.
Yes, it was
Yeah,
Corey.
yeah, they were
It
happening
was Corey
at,
and
like, at the
Afro
same
Man.
time.
I was like, it's an embarrassment of riches. Joanne Hendricks, hello, Kathy, Dr. Barry, and all chat. You get all 3 of my hypes every Monday. I absolutely adore you, Kathy. Listen, my hype game has been crazy. Y'all are hype. Please remember to hype Dr. Barry as well. Miss Firebird's child says, this was bad for my mental health, but so what, child?
Sorry.
It was bad for all of our mental health, all of it. Goldie JKU, growing up Mexican, I was also taught you don't need therapy. You just need to throw yourself in work or school. I believe in therapy for other people now, though.
Oh, not for me. Oh,
Not for me still,
so that's where
girl.
I do encourage people to, like, put their mask on first, and sometimes
Yes.
finding a therapist that's culturally aware, because sometimes a
Yes.
therapist will give really bad ideas that aren't culturally sensitive. And so there's some people that come from certain cultures where you say, hey, your mom is toxic, you need to cut her off. But in their culture, you would never cut your mother off. And so, like, you have to be sensitive to that person's, like, hey, what about calling her less? Like, what about, like, you have to figure out what's going to work for
Yeah.
that person and not take your own. Because also, just because I'm working with somebody else that looks like me, I grew up suburban. Like, I've never, there's this trend on TikTok right now where people are telling their suburban kids to square up. And they're just seeing what the kid, no, but just to see, because they're suburban kids, they're like, draw a square. Like, what do you want me to do with the square? Like, they're suburban kids. They're not about that life. Like, they don't know what's going on. They're like, why are you, like, what in the world? And so, finding the right person, I think, can be helpful. There are also other things that can be therapeutic that aren't therapy. So, because somebody asked me earlier, am I in therapy right now? No, but I do go to line dancing every Monday. And when I can go to Zumba, I do Zumba. So, like, moving your body, physical activity can be really great. Going for a nature walk, talking to a friend, but not this friend, not like this. We don't want to have these kinds of conversations. Like, this was too much. This was doing too much.
Tai Chi.
Oh, yeah.
Tai Chi. My husband's like, what is this dance you're learning? I'm like, shh, stop talking. It's Tai Chi. Because I have my autoimmune thing. I can't sweat. I should not sweat. It exacerbates my condition. But Tai Chi gets me all the way together. Mental health problems meant the devil was the problem. Mormon upbringing. Yeah, evangelical Christian upbringing. I was taught the same thing. Psych nurse here. Thank you, Dr. Barry, for your coverage. Working daily with patients with these diagnoses makes this feel like a continuing ed course, girl.
Thank you.
Wait, who's that from? Tree Kitty? $20 super chat. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Kelly can't get right. Is that the blessing Chad Daybell kept giving? Yes, it is. And he was very bad at it. And Kat Randall gifted one gossip, rumor, and innuendo membership. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. I know your baby has to get to bed. Final thoughts.
I am just glad that we were able to collaborate on this case, and because we
Yes.
were both covering it. And you do like the daily morning update, and I noticed at some point it just got to be too like you were into other stuff. Because I was glad that you picked up the Afro Man and that because you did like 1-2 days, and you I could tell.
I was like,
This
this stuff is not for me. She's not for me because I just want to smack people. I was like, She tested my patience. She's testing my patience.
And so I'm glad that we were able to bring both of our perspectives together and
Yes.
On both of our channels. So please, if you're not subscribed, we are both on our way to 40K.
Yes.
And
Yes.
yes. And so yeah, I'm just glad that I got to be here with you. And that's it for me.
I'm so thrilled to have you. I'm gonna play Slow Morrison's Ode to Gossip. That's who wrote my outro. And we're gonna say goodbye to Not Spike. Everybody, check out Dr. Patrice Berry on YouTube and all social medias, and check out Gossip, Rumor, and Innuendo most weekdays, giving you all the latest in the true crime gossip. Good night, friends. Shoot. There is no outro linked.
The real
God.
live. You can't.
I'm trying to tell you. You know what? I'm gonna go out with the oops commercial. That's what we're gonna do.
Criminal charges got you down? Is the FBI listening to your phone calls? Is the IRS on your back? We are here to help. We at Appropriate Offenses Prison Services, also known as OOPS, are here to help you do your time in prison with ease and comfort. We know you're worried. We know you're concerned. What is your family going to do? How are you going to pay for things in the absence of all that money that you've been working for all these years? Don't worry about it. We're just going to help ourselves to a little bit of your money, somewhere between $5,000 and $20,000, and we can tell you how to work your way through federal prison with no problems. What kind of services does OOPS offer, you wonder? Well, let me tell you. We can guide you through lice checks. What are the manners when you're on a prison ward? What's a good dating site? There's so many things that you're going to need to overcome. For example, what kind of excuses can you give your family and friends? Oh, he's away on assignment for work for 16 to 24 months. See? It's just that easy. Tell your friends and family you went on safari. Really, any excuse will do. But also, we give you day-to-day real-life tips. What kinds of things can I cook in my prison cell? What's appropriate for a potluck there in the prison? What do I need to bring to check-in? Here's a hint. Absolutely nothing. Everything you need at federal prison will be provided. But listen, give us a call at 1-800-I-GOT-CAUGHT. That number again is 1-800-I-GOT-CAUGHT, and we will be here to help you. We'll see you soon at OOPS. OOPS is not authorized by any state agency. It's also not a real company. You'll have to figure out shower crying and dating tips in prison all by yourself. Good luck in prison.